In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how we can use Blogger to create our own blog for the FIEA different projects that we got going on here. So you can see I've got a tab for 2D, 3D, animation, tech art, common, maybe portfolio, and also a link to your website. The other thing you're going to want to do is create a header, and then also off to the side there's going to be this bar that's got a link to your current cohort and all the different people that are on there. So you can go into cohorts past and you can kind of see this cohort 13. You can view all the different artists there, and you can do cohort 14, and we'll be building cohort 15. From there, you're going to be able to take a look at any one of these artists, and you can take a look and go back through kind of their history and kind of see a little bit about how they've taken their journey as an artist through here. So the type of blog that we'll be creating that I think is going to work kind of best is something that's kind of like this kind of layout that you see here, that lets you kind of scroll down. And if you get far enough in the past, it's going to basically tell you after you get so many posts that you're going to need to click on taking a look at older posts at here, and then I'll keep going back until you can get to the very first post that was ever made on the blog. Okay, so you're going to want to go to blogger.com, and if you don't have an account, I believe it's going to want you to have a Google account. You can say create your blog, but you're going to have some kind of Google account. I've already got one here, so I'm going to go ahead and log into this. And you should see something that pops up like this, and we can go give this a title, and then we'll give it whatever you want. I'm just going to call this FIEA Art blog, something like that, right? Your address, would like for this to be whatever your official FIEA name is. So that would be first name, and then your last name, and then FIEA after that, just like that. So it's first name, last name, FIEA, just like this, and then it'll check the availability for this, and then you can check your theme. Let's go through here. I think this Awesome Ink Incorporated actually works pretty good. So let's go ahead and say create blog. So it's going to go ahead and go through, and it's going to create your blog, and it'll actually try to find a domain name for you. If you want to connect it instantly, that's up to you. I'm going to say no thanks for that. What you're going to see here is that if we go and say view blog like this, this is the layout that we've got for everything. These are the colors and everything else like that that's kind of going on. But if we want to change some of this, we can go back to design, and then we can come and go through here and go to, you can change your theme. If you go to settings within here, we've got some different stuff for posting and comments and stuff like that. We'll let you kind of think about that a little bit. Layout's another thing here, where we can kind of go through, we can add these different gadgets, and we can do a sidebar, and this is where we can do add a sidebar that's going to have links to other blogs, things like that. So you could do something like a link list, something like this, favorite blogs, web pages, stuff like that. So if you put this on here, you can give it a title, and you can say something like cohort, whatever your current cohort is, and then this would be 15. You can also tell it how many items to show on the list. If you leave it blank, it's going to show everything. And if you do sorting, you can do sorting by alphabetical, and you can do new site name. So this is if you add somebody's link like this, and if we did first name, last name, and we do FIEA at blogspot.com like this, and then if you wanted to give this the actual link that you're going to do, and you do it right here, you can add a link like that, and you can see it's going to show up. And if we hit save for this, if we go after we've saved this, we can go back to view blog, and you can see now it's going to start giving us this cohort 15 area, like what we got going on there, and then it's also going to have whatever that artist name would be. So you're going to have to add all the different people that are in your current cohort that you have, and if you click on it, it's going to take you to that page. Now, getting the spelling and everything else like that is going to help. So what you might want to do is go ahead and I'm just going to edit this thing, and then I can just paste this in here and then save it just like that. And if you want to refresh, I'm going to hold down Shift and do the refresh icon right here, and I should be able to go like that, and you can see it's going to take me there now to that blog that I've got. Let's go back to design. So that's going to get you your sidebar kind of set up. And let's talk a little bit about making posts. So the first post, you can just go here to post like this, and you can say new post like that. And this is the area, and it's pretty easy if you use any kind of text editors that lets you put images and stuff like that. I think this is pretty standard. But your post title, you can do something like this. You could say something like 2D art. Let's go here, 2D art first post, something like that. And for the body of the text, that's up to you what you want to do. This is up to you for like where you want to make this post of yours interesting, you know, if it's going to be your 2D or 3D. This is where you can insert images, things like that, and you have control over text and stuff like that. But what's kind of important is if you go to these labels, this becomes important later, where if you go 2D and we say 2D art like this, this becomes a label for this thing. So if we go ahead and hit publish, we can go to view our blog, and we can see that now this is our first post that we have here. What's cool about labels is that if you click on a label, anything that you labeled 2D art, it would go and change this up here, search label, and say 2D art like this, and it would take you to all the different posts that were just 2D or 3D. Now we can kind of steal that functionality, and if we go to this thing here, let's go to design, and then let's go to layout right here. And this is where, again, you can add a gadget. So let's go ahead and add a gadget. So we're going to come here and we're going to add our gadget. But before we do, I know that I need some text, and you'll see why in just a second. So we're going to go, and remember, we go back to our post and we go to the labels, and it's going to change this up here to say the search label 2D art. Well, this is the location that we want for all of our 2D art labels. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to copy it. Let's go here to this cross column. Let's say add a gadget, and what we're looking for is pages, display a list of standalone pages on your blog. So we go ahead and click this, and then we don't need a title for it. We can get rid of this home thing. Let's say add external link, and we can paste our location in there for the search label for 2D, and we can call this 2D art like this and say save link. And then that should give us this link that you see, and we can actually control the different order of this. I'm going to go ahead and hit save for this, and then we're going to go ahead and say view blog, and then now you can see we've got this 2D art. So the next thing we would be doing is if we went and said design and we went back into layout, if you want to keep adding to that, you can go edit your pages and say add an external link, like this right here. I'm just going to use the 2D art, but I'll change it to 3D because I know I could use that later. I can call this 3D art like that and say save link, and make sure to save here, and then we can say view blog, and you can see now I've got 2D art and 3D art, and it's going to show the labels with 3D art. Now there's nothing there for the 3D art, but here you can see this. If we go to new post and we make a new post for 3D art and call this first post like that, and I'll just copy this and I'll paste it, and I'll put a label. It doesn't exist yet, but I'll just make it 3D art like what we got for the 2D one, and hit done, and we say publish. Now let's go view our blog, and you can see we've got two different posts now. We've got a different label for this. We've got the 3D art label. So if we do the 3D art label, it should show us everything that's got 3D art. So this is kind of the basic layout for what you want to have on here. If we go and say design, there's some more stuff that we can do. We can also go to our layout. You can go to this this header that we have here we could edit that, and you could also make an image, and you can put an image on there, and you can have the image instead of the title and description, and I think that looks better, and you as an artist, you would want to kind of go ahead and build that. I guess some other things about the layout is if we kind of take a look here, this is all the sidebar stuff. I think that's going to give you everything that you're going to need for that. If you want to change colors and things like that, if you go to theme and say customize, you're going to be able to kind of customize some of the stuff on here. So there are these different themes, and I kind of enjoy this darker theme. That's me. So I think you can use any one of these themes. You could adjust the width too for the entire blog. So like if you do this max distance in this right sidebar, I think if you keep it about the same as what it is right here, what you could do is whenever you make your post, you can post an image in, and you can keep it the size of about the width of this thing here. So let me go ahead and apply this to the blog just to show you kind of what I'm talking about here. And we'll go view blog right there like that. And then let's go to the 3D post. And this is something that's kind of cool about any of your posts. You can go back and click this edit post, or if you want to make a new post, you go right here. So we want to edit this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an image to this. I'll go ahead and use the choose file, and I'll choose an image, and then I'll go ahead and click this and hit open like this, and it should upload that image for me. And I'll go ahead and click it, and I'll say add selected. Now it's going to add it to the post. What I could do, what I've noticed is if I click extra large and I tell it to do a left justified like this, and I hit update and view the blog, you can see that we can see with an extra large image, it's always going to give us this kind of size for our images. So knowing that, I would put an image in and make sure it says extra large like that. And then you can go to design. And if you remember, we went to theme, and we can do customize, and we can do layout, and sorry, adjust width, and we can adjust this interactively like this. And what I want to do is get it somewhere right around in here. So maybe you do 1020, something like that. I actually like this distance that was on there, so maybe let's try to see 1030. Let's see what that looks like, and maybe we need something like 1040 like that. Maybe that's a little bit too much. 1035, something like that, or 1032, somewhere in there. I think that would look pretty good. And I'll go ahead and hit apply to blog, and then themes applied, and say view blog. And then now you can see anytime that we post some images and we use that extra large tab, everything should be nice, nice looking, and kind of like flow down and through here. So I think that's going to give you everything that you need to get your blog up and running and get the functionality going. Now this is going to be a little bit tough. You're going to have to get everybody else's blog after they've created it. So everybody's going to have to create their blogs, and then you're going to have to get their names and share that. Now there is a way, and we'll leave it up to maybe some of the tech artists or somebody like that. There is a way that after one of these has been created, it's possible to generate code for that and then share the code. And I'll leave that up to you all to figure that part out. Okay, so this should get you up and running. And what you would want to do, again, if you go back to, let me log this, load this up, Nick Zook, Zuccarello, FIEA, you can see we got a 2D tab, 3D, animation, tech art, common, portfolio, and website. And if you make those tabs, that should give you everything that you would possibly need during your time here. You can make a header image as well. We talked about that. And this should get you going to get your blog up and running.